Hi and welcome to a channel with me. I'm so excited. I have such a fun week ahead of me. I'm doing a lot of fun stuff, also some more mundane stuff. But either way, I think just with the way the week is looking, is that I'm gonna have to journal quite literally every single day this week, which is not very common, but there's just that much going on, small and big stuff. I thought today was gonna be the only day that I wasn't necessarily gonna journal, but that didn't end up happening. So what I'm doing with you this week is just take you along every single time I journal. I've done this once before for my first journal with me, and then I also did a journal with me doing all of like my vacation pages after I came home. But I thought it would be fun to take you along for yet another week. And this time around, I'm gonna do it a bit more vlog style. So for each update, I'm first just gonna tell you a bit about my day or about what I'm journaling about, and then I'll actually do like the typical like voiceover stuff to actually show you what I'm doing on a spread. If that makes sense, I think that would be fun. So that's the plan for this week. And yeah, it's Monday now and I'm gonna journal. So I'm gonna switch over to my phone just because that's the easiest to fill my journal with. And I'll see you in a bit. Hi. So I've never filmed myself on my phone before in this aspect ratio. I typically do film TikToks on my phone, but that's obviously vertically because that's how TikTok works. So I didn't realize it would look this shitty. Like, I don't know how to frame myself properly. I apologize. But like I said, today I wasn't expecting to journal, but I got surprise mail. And it's from Aaron Blommaert, actually, if you don't know. He's a Flemish singer, and for his recent single, if you pre-saved it on Spotify, you had a chance of winning a poster, and I won a poster. And I didn't realize, and I came in the mail today, and I was like, why is there an envelope for me in the mail today? Because I don't get post very often. It is this package for things that I ordered. I was very confused. And I have the poster still in the living room, but it did come with like this little thing that I'm just gonna stick in my journal, and I'm gonna write about my day because my grandparents came to visit as well. So I thought it'd be fun to just write a little about that. And then I'm also planning on watching Marvel Zombies, which is Marvel's latest show. It came out a couple of days ago. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I don't know if I've actually showed this in a video. Oh no, I have, because in my last journal, I did a spread like this for Ironheart, but now I'm trying to find. I swear to God, trying to find something in the journal is difficult sometimes. Oh, come on. I know I have. Oh, so I'm gonna make a page like this one. This one I did for Eyes of Arcana, so just like title at the top and then a breakdown for each episode and like my thoughts on it. And because I'm watching Marvel Zombies today, I'm gonna set that up, and then you won't see me fill it out because I will be doing something else as well while watching that show, so I have it on a little bit in the background. But I am planning on doing like a little flip through section at the end of like the pages I did today, and then I'll do that once I've actually like filled out the entire page, because I do think I'm gonna be watching the entire show because it's only 4 episodes, which all are like half an hour each, which is the same as Eyes of Wakanda. And I watched it so quickly, so I'm presuming this will go just as fast. But because of that, I also already know how to set this page up. So this is like 7 lines per episode. So I'm just gonna copy this, but then in a color scheme for that, obviously. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. So yeah, I have already a daily on this page. I think I'm just going to do a daily next to here, and then on the next page do my Marvel Zombies page. I think that's a good idea. Welcome to the voiceover. So I'm starting off with adding a little washi tape, kind of like divider at the end of my previous daily, just so it's clear on 2 different dates. Then I added the date at the top of the page, obviously, because how else am I supposed to know what date it's happened on? And then I am just cutting down this little strip of paper to size because it was a little bit too big, so I cut it smaller a little bit, and then I'm of course gluing it down because I don't know how else it's gonna stick. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. I'm still not good at this voiceover thing. I apologize. But yeah, I stuck that down on the page, glued it down. There we go. And then I am grabbing my pen and I'm gonna write about my day. And as always, I'm gonna skip over this and you're not gonna see me write the entire time because that's boring. If you're new here, that's how I do things. You don't want to see me write for half an hour. I don't want to see me write for half an hour. So yeah, here we go. I skipped. I just wrote a little bit about my day, not too much, because the strip actually ended up taking up more room than I thought. But oh well, I'm glad without it out. And then we're moving on to my Marvel Zombies page. And this was such a headache because I had the great idea to kind of try and copy the logo a little bit of the show because I thought it looked cool and not too hard to replicate. But as you might be able to tell already, I'm writing way too big. And it's not gonna fit on the page. So yeah, here I am. I'm using a yellow acrylic marker to write out the title. And yeah, and I'm doing a bad job at it. It's way too big. I am also going a bit slower with this because I was focusing on getting it correctly, but here you can already see me go a bit faster because I'm trying to squeeze it in the little room that I had. So that was mistake number one. So I'm using a piece of paper to cover that up and then rewrite the title because goddamn. And yeah, here I am just taking it down. I also realized too late that I cut it a little bit too large, so that's gonna cause for issues later. But yeah, I cut out most of me rewriting this title because it looks the exact same, just a bit smaller. I did the exact same things. You don't want to see that again. And yeah, then I'm going in with a like brown reddish Crayola marker and I'm just outlining the title. I'm just doing this to match the actual, you know, show logo better, and it honestly made this look better because at first when I did the yellow, I was like, oh god, what did I do? It doesn't actually look that great. I should have just done regular letters like I always do. I'm bad at like fancy fonts and everything, so I don't know why I tried this, but honestly I think the outline made it pull together. Of course it looks more amateurish than the actual logo does, but I feel like you can very clearly tell that it's supposed to invoke the same vibe. So I am really glad that I still decided to do this. I don't know, I think it's fun and makes it less like all of the other pages I've done before, you know what I mean? So yeah, here we go. I'm still outlining that. Let's go. And I also feel like the yellow oftentimes doesn't really show up as well on page, and like with an outline around it, it just pops so much more. Like, don't you think? I don't know, I really like how this looks. So I'm glad with that because it did give me a headache and I had to do it twice, at least the yellow part. So I'm glad that these looks good, you know. And then I am writing down room for the episodes. I'm counting 7 lines for each episode because that's just how it works out in my journal. And here's my mistake though, is that with the piece of paper that I ended up using, I accidentally covered up 1 line too many, so the last episode has 6 lines instead of 7. But yeah, I'm adding some washi tape at the bottom of the page just to, I don't know, bring in some more color. I wrote the episode numbers, by the way, with the same Crayola super tip in case you were curious. But as I put the washi tape at the bottom, I put a stripe of yellow and a stripe of red, obviously. I thought the episodes markers looked a little bit too boring, so I went over them with my yellow marker and it ended up smudging like everything and it didn't really look as good. And then I tried to go over again with my Crayola super tip and I don't know, it just wasn't taking, even though like the ink was dry, it just wasn't working out. So then I ended up writing down the episodes like numbers with my black marker, which doesn't look as great, but at least it looks like something. That's everything, so let's go to the flip through. Okay, so it's flip through time, although I don't have a lot to show for it, but this is the daily I did. So here is a little paper strip about my day, and on the other side I have my Marvel Zombies page. My pen went out right here, I can tell, and I got a new pen, so that's why that looks messy as well. But yeah, don't really love how this page turned out. Also, I don't mind you reading what's on the page, but there's spoilers in this, so be aware of that. I did like what I ended up doing with, you know, the little title here. I think I did a good job kind of copying the actual logo for the show, but then like the rest of the page I didn't really like, also didn't really like the show that much. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's it for day 1 of this journal with me. Hi, so I was stupid and I set up my phone the same way I would do normally when I'm filming my journal, which is very different because it typically, if you don't know, I have a like flip phone from Samsung. So like a fold, is called a flip or fold? I don't remember. I'm not technology savvy, but either way I have one of those, so I always like flip the screen so I can angle it better at the page, and I had to set up like that and I could only see myself like very tinily, so I was fucked yesterday. But then I realized I could also just still hold my phone and selfie mode. the way most people do. And honestly, I look so much better. I apologize so much for yesterday's setup. Anyway, it is Tuesday. How are you doing? I don't have the update for you that thought I was going to, because I went to the library today. These are all my own books. This is where typically my library haul goes. It's not here. Because I found nothing. I had such bad luck at the library. I had such a long wish list. Nothing was there. So, I'm not making a library page, sadly enough. But don't be feared, because we do have some things to update. So how I made a page for Marvel Zombies yesterday, I also have... Where is it? I just saw it and it's gone. Okay. I also have a spread like that for Only Murders in a Building, season 5. So I have to update that today, because Tuesday is new episode day, episode 6. I have thoughts. I'm very excited to fill that out. A lot of things I'm going to be filling out, which is new this month. I've never done this in my channel before. But I talk every month. I do a little wrap up. You'll see that tomorrow, probably, about all the books, movies, and shows. Like books I read and shows and movies that I watched. But I never really talk about any of the new music. I do album reviews, but that's it. So I made like a little new music spread, and typically new music gets released on Friday, so I thought it was fun. But I had one release yesterday and then 2 today from artists that I follow, so I'm adding those to the list. And then because I didn't go to the library, I am gonna do a regular like daily page right here as well, where you left things off, because I did go again. My grandparents came to visit again. It's related to something that happened yesterday, but you don't need to know about my life. So I can write about that. And then we also stopped. Oh, I sat on my glasses, yes. Not these, but my other ones. It was actually my good ones. I sat on those accidentally yesterday. So like the lights were all bent. So we went to, the glasses store to get them fixed. So writing about that. And then we stopped at the bookstore and I got a coloring book. This is the typical like Disney Friends by Number books, but they have been published by a Dutch publisher as well now. So this is the first volume from the Pixar ones, but I'm gonna write about that. I also got this new pen from the bookstore, which is from Camille. It has like a cute little pom-pom on it, and my typical ballpoint pen that I use for like dailies, that's a marker, which is the one I got from Plopsaland this summer, went out yesterday. As you could tell, I showed you that. So I'm excited to try this one as well on this page. And then I have a little tag from it that I can include on my page, so that's fun. And then I guess I'll do like a daily without doing like a library haul. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing, but got some study update. I actually got a page to make. I'm gonna start with the daily and then I'm gonna do the updates, but you'll see that happen. And then of course I'll do a little flip at the end. And we're back to the voiceover. This daily page is gonna look very similar to yesterday's, but I'm just writing the date at the top in my color of the month, which was pink, and then I'm using my new pen to write out what happened in the day, and I'm skipping over that a bit. And then when I got to the point where I was like writing about going to the bookstore, I actually stopped writing for a bit and I glued in the tag from the pen, because I just like how it looks when you're talking about something and then like that thing is glued in. I don't know, I think that looks cute, so that's what I did. And then I continued writing about today, and obviously I needed to glue that in first to know what room to leave, obviously. And then here I skipped again to the end of the page and I finished writing about my day, and it was great. And then here I am updating my Only Murders in a Building page, which is kind of lame because the cool setup I already did. I'm just writing my thoughts on this episode, and I had so many thoughts that I struggled to contain it all within like this little section I had for it. It was such a good episode, loved it. And then of course we also updated my new music page. There were 3 new songs that came out this week, which was a pain in the ass because typically songs come out on Friday, not on Monday and on Tuesday. Who does that? Anyway, I had to squeeze them in because I didn't have a lot of page room left on this page. But yeah, I wrote 1 sentence blurbs for all 3 of these songs. Typically I like to write a little bit more, like 2 to 3 sentences, so I struggled a bit. But I'm writing the song title and artist in like this pinkish purplish colored pen. I think it just fit the color of the month really well. And then I'm again using my new pen to actually write down my thoughts, and as you can see, barely managed to fit them in. And then you'll see me do this later, but it's like very short at the end. I also use a green and a red Crayola super tip to indicate whether that song is going straight to my playlist or not. So green is for yes, red is for no, and the red is across, the green is a check mark. And yeah, if you want to know more about that, go watch my straight to the playlist video because those are fun. And yeah, let's go through the flip joke because that's it for today. So I'm gonna go into order these pages are in my journal, but there's the only murders page. I updated episode 6 again. This contains spoilers, so read on your own risk. But I filled all of it out with my new pen and it wrote so smoothly. So big fan of this one, good purchase. But there we go. Filled that out. I'm very excited. I'm so sad. I'm like over halfway through though, but so excited for like the rest of the show. Then we updated my new music page. As you can see, barely fit. I really had to squeeze in. And yeah, it is so sad though because like I all had green check marks and then at the end of the month just do songs that I didn't like, and it had to ruin the vibe for everyone. It sucks. Anyway, and this is my daily, always very simple. I put this here while writing to kind of like make it fit a bit within a story. I like doing that sometimes. Sometimes I gather everything at the top or like wherever on the page that I think will look pretty. But sometimes when I only have like a few things, I will just put it within like the story, you know? That makes sense. So where it fits, like here I'm talking about buying like the pen and like the bookstore visit and everything, and so I put that next to it so it would make sense. I don't know. And that makes sense. So yeah, we're done for today. Tomorrow's gonna be a big journaling day because I have to do my wrap up and my setup for October, so that's gonna be a lot. But that's it for today. I hope you had fun. Hello. It is another day of journaling. Fun fact, I've edited this video so far, and I'm really liking it. So I'm hoping you are too. But it's Wednesday. It's October 1st, which means we have work to do because we're setting up for October, wrapping up September, and then I also just have some other stuff I want to do. So it's gonna be a big journaling session. So let me tell you everything what's on the docket for today. So I have 2 pages of printed out stuff. This is the first one. It has some stuff for Calabasas on here, which is a book I read earlier in the month, and I've been wanting to do a page on because I loved it so much. So, but I kept waiting until I had more to print out, so you know, it wasn't a waste of paper, and I just never did. So now I attached the 3 album covers from the albums that are coming out this month, and I printed that out, and then I'll just cut out these album covers, stick that in the pocket at the front of my journal, and then I won't have to worry about that until they come out. And of course I have to make my Calabasas page in September because otherwise it's weird. And then I also have a little poster / book cover for everything I read and watched this month, so that's fun. I always just, whenever I finish a show, movie, or book, put this in like a Google Docs document, and like that I just create a list throughout the month that I now just have to cut out and glue down and write my thoughts on. And then of course I'm setting up for October, so I'm making like my start of the month intro page, and then I also really want to make a Halloween watch list. Like I have been making these seasonal TBRs in this journal, which I really enjoy. This is my fall one. It's kind of just more like very decor heavy. It's not necessarily about all the books on there, but I really like making those pages, so I kind of want to make a Halloween one and then just add a bunch of movies to that. So that's also what I'm gonna be making today. So quite a lot of pages, but I am very excited about them all, so let's just immediately get started. And we're back to the voiceover. So I started off with cutting out these like album covers, as I told you, putting them at the front of the journal, and then I cut out myself a catabsis. I still haven't settled on the pronouncement of that book title. Whoops. But yeah, I didn't show the cutting out because it's boring and it happened mostly off screen, but here I am arranging my pictures the way I want to. I always just print out stuff from Pinterest. I typically just look up the book title with the word aesthetic and I get some stuff, and then if I don't get what I want, like for this one I also searched up Cambridge aesthetic because I wanted like more academic picture, you know. So yeah, and here I am gluing it down, finally figured out how I wanted them positioned. It's always vibes, babe. I never have an explanation for how I do things. And then I grabbed this black piece of paper and I'm writing the book title on it with a white acrylic pen. I do have to say these are great, but I do always need like 2 layers for it to, like on black paper at least, for it to like show up properly. But I think that's typical for most things on black paper. So yeah, I'm just showing you me writing it down, but I did go over it yet again before I'm doing this, which is this like dark yellow technically acrylic marker, and I'm using that to like make some drop shadows on the word, just because I feel like it looks a bit gold even if it's like not officially like metallic gold. Um, and that obviously works with the book cover, which is black, white, and gold. So it's perfect for that. At least it's the UK edition. That's the one I have. I'm not the best at drop shadows. I don't know why. I feel like it never turns out looking like the best like it does a lot of people's stuff, but I do like including it every so often, and I try my best, and that's always the most important part. That's the only way you learn, is by doing it. So that's what I did here. I thought I would just add in a nice pop of color, so I did that obviously on all the letters. And then I'm also like using like this for my star rating. I was debating on using white or gold, but I'm like, stars are gold, and now that you are using this pen, you better like use it for that. And then with the white, I wrote out Kwan, so the author name as well. And then here I am gluing down the title at the bottom of the page. I also again cut this out. Well, I cut out how I cut that out, if it makes sense, because I always, you can even see me with like with the glue stick. I always go off screen. I don't realize it, and it's not fun to watch. But yeah, I put the star rating underneath the cover, and then off Kwan, like the bottom of like the little collage bit above the title. So I thought that would look great. And then I am just going in and writing my review for the book. Just like a little blurb of my thoughts on it and like why I picked it up, stuff like that. And yeah, I cut that down like always with my writing. I used my gummy pen, which I got yesterday. So I don't know, I thought that looked cool. And then I'm of course moving on to my wrap up page. Again, I cut out all like the movie posters and stuff off screen. Don't need to see that. And yeah, I'm making my title in this way that I really like nowadays, and that's just to make random size boxes in a lighter color and then use a darker color to write on it. I feel like it kind of gives like the same effect as like if you would cut out different size letters from like a newspaper or like a magazine. I don't know. So yeah, and now I'm showing you how I basically do my wrap up. So I stick down the cover or poster because I'm starting off with a show this month, so it's a poster. And then I am putting my star rating underneath that in my black pen, and then the title and season as well. And then I'm just using my regular pen to write my thoughts on the show. And of course, for book, I put title and author, and for a movie, I put title and release year, in case you want to know about that. And that's what I do for my wrap up. And then I just alternate on which side the covers are on. You'll see that in a minute. I originally was going to show you me doing all of these pages, but that took so long. Like honestly, even sped up, that's almost 10 minutes of footage. Like it's generally it's a very repetitive process. It's a bore, you don't want to see that, but I'm showing you how I put in Wednesday, so you can see me alternating. And then I am also showing you me putting in the last of the shows, which was Marvel Zombies. You recognize that one. So you I wrote the title first, and then the star rating. I kind of switched between that because honestly it doesn't really matter. And then I am also writing my thoughts on it. For the Punisher, I showed you the whole thing because I knew I was going to chat a lot, but this is cut because obviously you don't want to see me write for that long. And then I am going back to the start of these spreads, and I'm just highlighting all of the titles in my pink marker. I always do this at the end because I feel like if I do it immediately as I write it, sometimes I just smudge the ink and that doesn't look great, especially because this month I had a lighter color. And I feel like that's always more noticeable. So I just always do that at the very end when I'm done with everything. But it just makes the titles pop a bit more. Like yes, black versus blue already does make the title stand out a little bit. But this way it is much more clear and also brings in, you know, the theming of the month, so I like that. Then we are starting on my October page. I started off with a quote page because at the start of November, at the start of September, I'm sorry, I said that one, I did the quote from There It Goes by Maisie Peters that includes September. I'll show you that on my flip through. And because that one also mentions October, I thought it would be fun to include that on, you know, for this month as well. So I did that. My color of the month is orange with a pop of purple to bring in the Halloween vibe. So that's what I did here within the quote, and with my black pen I'm just like writing Maisie Peters, there it goes, so you know where it comes from. It's very simple. And then I am making my regular monthly cover page, and I really debated with kind of what washi tape to use, so I just took out all of my orange ones and I settled on this one because I like the pattern on it. I do have to say that when I put it down on the page, it looked more summery, like lemonade, rather than like, you know, October pumpkins. But luckily I had this very fall washi as well, so I put that next to it. I always put 2 strips typically, or like one really thick one. But yeah, then I'm also writing out the word October on a separate piece of paper with my orange, and then I'm outlining that with the purple because I like the way it looks. I think it gives a cute pop. So technically you already know it's October because of the quote page, but this is just the way I always set these things up. And yeah, I also cut out these letters separately because again it happens mostly off screen, and I know I do this every time, and yet I always forget to pay attention to it while filming, and it's a pain in the ass. I apologize, but here I am gluing down the separate letters. I just really like how it looks, and I do feel like having the orange on the marker being a bit darker than the orange on the washi tape actually helps make it pop a bit more. So in that sense, I do like it. And yeah, basically for the cover page, I just write down kind of like my events of the month. I always say it's kind of like an index for the month, except instead of page numbers, I'm obviously writing like the date numbers, if that makes sense. So what I do is I make a orange dot, and then with purple, I write in the like date number, and then with my pen next to it, I just write what that is. So like for example, the first thing on here is on the 3rd, The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift release and stuff like that. But yeah, there we go. I already finished that. Wow, that went quick. Anyway, here I am making my Halloween movies list, the one last page that I'm doing for today because I did quite a lot. So I wrote the title on a black piece of paper, that I put down the sticker which is kind of like a garland, and I thought it looked cute with like Halloween decorations, and that would be fun to put my title on black paper with orange acrylic marker on top of that. But then I felt like it covered up too much of the actual sticker, and I didn't really like how it looks. But because the sticker has clear backing, I thought, oh, this might look cute on top of the title. And then you'll see, no, it doesn't. Like, it's barely readable if I do that, and like the sticker is also barely visible when I do it. You see nothing. So then I tried to find a new home for the sticker, and I just decided to put it at the top of the next page because it's a double page spread, so it works out. And then I'm just going through my sticker books and picking out Halloween stickers and sticking them down. Basically the ones I used are the Chaos Shake sticker book, and then from the Action I have a couple of ones I actually pulled stickers from. Most of them are from the Seasons and Holidays one, obviously, because it's Seasons and Holidays, but I also think I got some from Everyday, some from Cute Stuff. So I don't know. And yeah, I'm just putting stickers all over this page because that's honestly why I wanted to do this, is just to make a very sticker heavy, like seasonal kind of spread, something that I typically don't really do that much. So it's just a fun way to kind of be creative. Like the fact that there's movies on this list is kind of like extra. But yeah, I got out a lot of me sifting through all of the books and like figuring out what stickers I wanted to use and stuff like that. But I'm just showing you me sticking them all down. So I am making like a little like collage at the bottom of stickers, and then like in the middle of the pages I also just have a little pop because I do think that's cute. On one side of the page I have the ghost with like the boo. I think it looks cute, and I'm putting that on the other side. I am putting down some bats, and then there is that, and then I wrote down all of the movie titles. So basically what I did is I went through all the streaming services that I have, and most streaming services nowadays have like a Halloween category, and I just listed some movies from there that I wanted to watch. And yeah, I managed to fit on way more than I thought I would, so that's great. And yeah, I'm just writing down, it's not my goal to watch all of these this month, it's just kind of like a reference page. I've been shit at watching movies this year, so it would be a miracle if I even watch one of them. And yeah, now I'm just filling up remaining space with kind of like these smaller black stickers with a clear backing. So yeah, because they're smaller, I thought they were great to like litter all over the page basically. And I don't know, I really love how this page turned out, and I'm really glad that I decided to do it, as ridiculous as it is, baby. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend
using your stickers in a page like this. It's so fun. And then again, I'm filling up some of the spaces with some washi tape, just because I have some orange, like I have these thinner washi tapes, and I had some orange and one black one, and I used those to fill up some space in between titles, because some titles are like really short, others are really long, and that like creates weird gaps that I can't put a sticker in, but I can put some thin washi tape in. So that's what I'm doing right here. And again, I really just love how this page turned out. I think it is so full of everything, but I also think it's really cute and I really like it. And it was just really fun to make. Again, this was mainly just based on vibes. I had no technique going into this, but yeah, I am going to send you over to the flip through. So I'm finally done. Was a long take, but yeah, I have the album covers right here in the pocket, as I said. And then let's get to the pages I actually did. Boom. So this is my page for Catabasis. Love how this stood out. Absolutely loved it. I kept things pretty simple because I didn't really have any inspiration for this page, but I'm obsessed with how this ended up. And then we have my wrap up, which is the same as always. So I don't really have much to say about it. The coloring just changes each month, but for the rest, it's the same layout and it works for me, so I like it. Then we have this Maisie Peters quote because, and this is fun, I have this, I'm doing better, I made it to September, I can finally breathe, which is from There It Goes. So of course, for October, I needed to do I Wake Up and It's October, The Loss Is Yours, which is from the same song, just later on. I thought that was fun. So there we go. Then we have my October kind of opener spread. I have a little things that I have on for this month, not much, but still. And then this kind of always how I do things, just like do washi tapes and then the month over it. I don't know, I like it. I do think this turned out a bit more yellowy than orange, but oh well. And then we have, of course, my Halloween movies list. Look at how fun. I love just getting to be very maximalist with these pages, and I think I did a great job at doing that. I actually also managed to fit way more movies on this than I thought I was going to, so that's also great. So yeah, I'm definitely not getting into all of these. That'd be crazy, but it's gonna be a fun reference thing. Like if I want to watch a like Halloween movie, I can just go from this list and then check it off when I watch it. That's how this goes. But yeah, that's all I did today. It's a lot, I know. I'm tired, so peace out. Hello, it's Friday, and this is the first time I'm doing the like talking section after I already did my journaling. So I'm actually glad I did, because today it ended up being a rough one. So what I knew for sure I wanted to do today is look at this. I got a piercing yesterday. So I wanted to just, chronicle that as well, just write a little blurb about that, my experience of that yesterday, because it's something I've been wanting to do for a while and I finally got done. So that was exciting. So I wanted to write about that. And then I also had one of my pre-orders come in today. I was supposed to get 4. 2 were canceled, like not canceled, but they were delayed yesterday. Greatly on time, by the way. And then 1, which was supposed, like I've got a notification of that it was like sent out the longest ago. And that I got a notification of it that's actually coming tomorrow, and then 1 I did actually get in today, so I need to check that off my like pre-order tracker. So that's just filling in a box, that won't be much, but it is. And then of course we have 2 album releases today. Of course, The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. This is the one that's coming on Monday, and it pisses me off because I want to see it so badly. Anyway, so I made a spread for that, and then I also made a spread for Gedoe by Pamela Thijs, which is the pre-order that came in. And yeah, these 2 albums came out today, so I of course made, I was gonna say my typical spread for them, but here's the thing. Today, like right now as we speak, the first kind of original concerts concert is, and I'm going on Sunday, and I so badly don't want to get spoiled, so I banned myself from social media this weekend, which means I also today did not spend any time on social media because I really wanted to get myself into the habit, even though like I could have most of the day, just not tonight. And I think I already kind of fell in sale with just how extra I went on those pages, but
you'll see it. Also, fun fact, my laptop broke, like my screen broke. So now I'm stuck without social media and without my laptop, so I can only use my phone and my iPad, which has been such a pain. I can tell you, like, especially when I'm trying to like multitask, it's been kind of a pain in the ass, but either way. That also happened today. So, when I finished my 2 album spreads, I was like, I kind of need to rant about today. So I then also wrote a daily about today, which is way longer than the one about yesterday. Yesterday I actually had something to talk about, but that's just how much I wanted to rant, with just how not good today was going. And it was just a lot of small inconveniences, but the laptop obviously is a big one, but for the rest, it's a lot of small inconveniences. But just I'm so tired of it, so I did a little waiting at the end. So yeah, I needed to talk to you about that because if I did the vlog update before doing all those pages, that wouldn't have been in here because that's just a decision I made just now. So yay. Okay, so as I said, I'm updating my pre-order tracker now. That took very quickly, but I was gonna show you everything I did in my journal. And then this is me doing the daily for yesterday, basically. So yeah, just the same format, write the date on top and then just write about my day until I don't have anything left to say. So there we go. I used my gummy pen on this one. I really like this pen. It writes very smoothly. And then here the insanity starts because this is my life of a showgirl spread. And yeah, I decided to color this entire thing teal. Because I'm nuts. But this is done with acrylic marker. I obviously skipped over that, most of it, because this took a really long ass time, and I think I might have ruined my marker doing this. I've never done like a 2-pager fully covered like this, and yeah, I don't recommend. But here I am sticking down the cover, of course. I also had to use like my clips to like hold the corners down because it was just like folding over. Fun times. And yeah, I'm adding the title and artist, so The Life of a Showgirl and Taylor Swift, in this orange acrylic marker because that's obviously the color scheme of the album. And then I wrote out ranking at the top of the second page in the same marker, and then I used a Crayola super tip to write out all the song titles on this separate piece of paper, so for my ranking. So yeah, I cut them all out. I thought this would be fun because the actual album does kind of have all the the track list is all in like these little different boxes, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to add to the spread. And then I also decided to put the numbers in a teal color, but I also did this with my Crayola super tip and cut those out. Again, saved you the time of having to see that, and then I arranged them how I wanted it and glued them down. And you can see me looking on my iPad to check my ranking. This would have been so much easier if I had my laptop, because it's so much easier to reference than the iPad for me personally. But we work with inconveniences, and yeah, I'm sticking out my ranking the way I want it. Obviously, it's based on first listen though, so definitely is subject to change in the future. And then I'm just writing out my thoughts on the album, because what else am I supposed to do? And yeah, I got over the writing, you know me. And then I spend a lot of time on that. So this is in the evening, and I have my overhead light on, while earlier was in the afternoon with natural lighting. And I'm insane again. I wasn't originally gonna do something similar for Redo, but I did. But I did do it differently. I learned a little bit because one page is blue and one page is purple. And if you're gonna see the album cover, you're gonna ask why, because it is very blue. But I promise you, it has purple detailing in it, and a lot of this era for Permanentes has been also like purpley as well. So I thought of it. I then wrote the title out in a white acrylic marker at the top of the page, and now I am actually sticking on the album cover after fighting with the little clamp, because this paper is it's piling up a little. And then I wrote on Pomelites at the bottom of the page with this white acrylic marker, except it didn't really look good, so I instead used this purple, because at the bottom of the album it also says her name in purple. I skipped over that because I went really slowly because I was trying to perfectly cover the white. I still didn't think it popped enough though on the page, so I used this like blue gel pen to kind of outline the white letters of the title. And then I also have like a purpley pinkish one that I will use at the bottom, so it matches, I guess. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. Again, I'm cutting over it a little bit because at the bottom you can't really see it anyway. And then wrote out ranking in the blue acrylic marker again on the purple. And then I am also going to be writing the numbers in white. You're going to see that in a minute. It's taking me a long time. So yeah, okay, I am writing the numbers.
and you'll see me go. And then I always get scared of not being able to fit it on the page. This time I left way too much bottom space, so I decided to just erase it out with my purple acrylic marker, just bend over it, pretend it didn't exist, and then redo it. And now I went from the bottom up because I felt like that might help with some spacing. So that's what I did. And that's what you'll see me do now. And then again, I'm outlining the title with blue, and then I'm gonna outline the numbers with purple. But I think I'm gonna show you the whole entire outline of like the ranking page title, but not of the numbers. I don't know. I just edited this and I already don't really remember where I put the cuts. I apologize, but that's just how it goes. I'm so tired because today was not my day. Anyway, here I am outlining the numbers. As you can see, it just helps make it pop a bit more against the background. And then I am writing out my ranking for this one as well, again using my iPad as a reference because that's fun. I also made a mistake here. I wrote down the wrong song title, so I decided to fix it by going over with my purple acrylic marker, but the blue of my pen kind of smudged, and here I made a mistake again. I'm covering it up again, and because I had to do a lot of layers to properly cover that up, it is letting it dry right now while I'm writing down my thoughts on the actual album on the other side of the page. So I am doing that. I cut over that, obviously. That tissue, by the way, I just used to like blot the different layers a couple of times while in between different layers, so it would be easier to do. And here I am fixing my mistake, actually putting in the right songs that I suppose I needed to. And yeah, I was so frustrated with my day that I wanted to write about it, so I added in a little washi strip in between, like at the bottom of the previous daily, wrote down the date of today, and then started writing about today because I don't know, I needed to get it off my chest. Sometimes it just works that way, and it is still a journal after all. So there we go. But that's it. To the flip through. Okay, so this is the daily sheet. This is the Halloween watch list, and then if you turn things out, I have my daily for yesterday, a little washi strip to divide things up, and then a daily for today. As you can see, lots more to say today. That's just how frustrating it was. I should also probably show you my pre-order tracker, even though there's nothing interesting in there. But this is it. I checked off Gedoe. Here it is. You can barely see the difference between the pink and the orange in this lighting. That's interesting. I colored this in when it was still light out, and I could definitely see much more of a difference then. God, it's not even a camera thing. I also can't really see it in real life anyway. So, yeah. So, these are then the dailies that I did. And then this is my spread for the life of a show girl. I actually am obsessed with this. This was insane for me to do, to color in these 2 pages. But doesn't it look so pretty? And I'm obsessed with this. And then this is the one for Gedoe. I'm glad I did decide to go 2 colors with this one, because I do think that looks the best, and also because the blue also never would have made it, but I planned this even before I knew the blue was gonna win out on me. So yeah, I think this looks really cute. I do have to say that I feel like this is a better color match, so I feel like the cover kind of blends in, and that's kind of like a regret I have on here. And here, this is definitely like lighter than this is, so it kind of works. I do think it kind of looks insane that there's so much purple on here, while there seems to be so little purple on here, where there actually is like a lot of the detailing on this is in like a pastel purple. So it made sense in my brain. I don't know if it made sense to anyone else. You can also very clearly see these mistakes that I've made, which also sucks, but I do also overall like how this turned out. My favorite page though is this one. I'm actually obsessed with this. I could look all this all day, like, oh my god, isn't this cute? But this also is fun. I'm like, I feel like my album ranking pages, like, let me show you one I did in September. Okay, so this is the last one I did. It's for Perry. Like, it technically still has the same layout, but I feel like this looks so different than this. Just because of, all the extraness. I feel like these look so different, and it was fun to do. And I kept my day occupied, and that's all I needed when I can't go on social media, Hi, so it is the Tuesday after I last spoke to you. I didn't really do much in the weekend. Also, sorry, there's construction going on outside. I hate it too, but there's something we have to deal with. But so in the weekend, I didn't really do that much. I worked on My Life of a Showgirl in Gedoe. Album review videos. I got prepared for the Cat Originals concert, and that's kind of all I did. And I read a little bit, but not too much. So
I didn't have anything else to update you with. And I was originally going to include my Cadre original spread in this one because I have so many great ideas for that, but my laptop is still being made so I can print anything, so we'll have to wait for that. But you know, if this journal is full, I will do a flip through of it just like I did with my last journal, so you'll see that. And anyway, this video is long enough, like oh my god. This is like almost an hour long. I don't need to add another part to it. So that's it. A week in my journal. I thought it was really fun to do this because I also think it was just a really fun week to do it because I almost had something to update you on every single day, only not on the weekend. So I think it was a fun time. I hope you did too. I also hope you like kind of like the vlog style to it, and then hopefully I'll see you around next time. Good.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should